Folks, it's that time of year again. Let's vote on who is the worst Trump MAGA lawyer of the year. MAGA stands for Make Attorneys Get Attorneys. I've narrowed it down to 3. Alina Haba, Christina Bob, Joe Takapina. Those are the 3. I could have included more, and I've excluded Giuliani, I've excluded John Eastman, and I've excluded Ken Chesebro. And of course, Ken Chesebro's pled guilty in the Fulton County District Attorney criminal RICO case and is now a cooperating witness against Donald Trump and various other state criminal investigations because their conduct was more 2022 conduct and it predates 2023. So I've excluded them if you want to know why. All right, let's go through the 3 candidates for the worst Trump MAGA lawyer in 2023. You've got Alina Haba. She was sanctioned $1 million for the frivolous lawsuit she filed against Hillary Clinton and dozens of other individuals in the Southern District of Florida. And then she bragged about being sanctioned $1 million at a recent event. Here, play this clip of Alina Haba.
That got assigned to a Clinton-appointed judge. And what do you think happened? Nobody's heard of the case, right? It's because it's gone. I never met the judge. I never walked into the courtroom. There were probably 50 lawyers representing all of the radical left. Clinton's lawyers, Mook's lawyers, and the list goes on and on and on. 1 month. It got dismissed, and me and President Trump got sanctioned $1 million for going against crooked Hillary. You didn't know that, did you? Fake news, folks. Fake news. They won't report it. But guess what? We paid that $1 million, and we're going to keep on fighting.
In addition to being sanctioned $1 million, Alina Haba is also responsible for waiving absolute presidential immunity in the E. Jean Carroll defamation case against Donald Trump set for trial in January based on Trump's defamatory statements that were made while he was in office. All you have to do to assert an affirmative defense is say, we hereby assert the affirmative defense of absolute presidential immunity, but because she waited more than 3 years to do that, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals held that Donald Trump and his legal team waived the right to bring that defense at the time of trial or before. Also, in an oral argument before the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, Alina Haba did not know what the Blassingame case was, which is a case of Blassingame v. Trump, which says that Trump doesn't have absolute presidential immunity regarding the cases relating to the January 6th insurrection that he's being sued for. Here's the oral argument where Alina Haba did not know her own case, Blassingame v. Trump. Play the clip.
Okay, are you familiar with Blassingame versus Trump, the D.C. Circuit case that was recent?
Let me see if it's in mine. Not off the top of my head, Your Honor.
Okay, I'd just be, they got this issue before we did, and obviously it is not binding authority on us, but it is persuasive, and I was hoping that you could react to it, but you don't have any reaction to it at this time.
I don't, but I can say that if it's not from the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has made very clear that we are not to extend Bivens unless it passes the 2-factor test. My colleague,
right? That's a official act case. It's more dealing with the immunity.
Alina Haba is also the lawyer for Donald Trump in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case. Donald Trump was sanctioned for contempt the previous year, so I won't include that one in the 2023 category for Alina Haba. But there are many people who were saying that Alina Haba could have checked a box to have a jury trial. Alina Haba says there is no check the box issue when it comes to the claims being brought by the New York Attorney General. I would still argue that that should have at least been raised in a pleading so it could be an issue on appeal, but Alina Haba did not raise that issue. Also, in the E. Jean Carroll defamation cases. Donald Trump basically has no expert witnesses, and various deadlines were apparently blown by Alina Haba and Donald Trump's legal team. And now Donald Trump is scrambling to try to bring an expert into the E. Jean Carroll case set for January. Alina Haba was also the lawyer for Trump in the case where Trump lost and a $5 million judgment was entered against Donald Trump there, which Trump is appealing. But you have that as well. No experts, didn't file basic documents, didn't file motion eliminates in time, missed critical deadlines in the E. Jean Carroll case. Then you've got the New York Attorney General civil fraud case as well, where a gag order was imposed on Alina Haba and Trump's legal team for threatening and attacking or going after, whatever you want to call it, the judge's principal law clerk, like who attacks the judge's law clerk. And then Alina Haba went on TV and whined about that. In addition, Alina Haba was mentioned in a lawsuit that was recently filed against the Bedminster property, and an individual alleged that Alina Haba, a female who was working at Bedminster, who was the victim of, alleges she's the victim of sexual assault, says that she entered into a settlement agreement because she was groomed by Alina Haba, who pretended to be her friend, to try to settle the case so that she could silence the victim. Alina Haba is mentioned in that matter. And so that's basically your Alina Haba category right there. So let me ask you, do we think Alina Haba is Trump's worst MAGA lawyer of the year? Let me just show you this clip of Alina Haba right here, where she has to go on right-wing media networks so they can tell her how great she is, and it's just really embarrassing. They go, how do you make it look so easy? And you have Sebastian Gorka, who literally worked for Trump, is now the host of the right-wing media network, asking Alina Haba. Here, play this clip.
Because you make it look just so easy. You walk up to the insane lying press and you just, you just have no podium, no teleprompter, and you just crush them. How do you make it look so easy, Alina?
Patriotism. I think it's the same thing that you suffer from, right? We love our country. And I haven't had any training. PR is not my thing. I'm a lawyer. But I'm passionate about the president getting back to business and cleaning up our country. And when you have passion for anything and you have the facts on your side, I think it's relatively easy to speak from the heart.
And then here you have Alina Haba saying that she's really America's lawyer. I mean, no, she isn't, but here she is right here saying that.
And I always say that, Kim. I know I'm President Trump's lawyer, but I really represent America, and I represent what we were. Mm-hmm. What we were, and that's
and
really
the
what
future
I hope
of what we can be and will be, again, with the help of God, and we will go forward, hopefully in just, 11, 12 months time, and we will right this ship.
Then Alina Haba would go to these various parties and wear MAGA necklaces. So some just overall incompetent meets weird meets she believes she's actually a good lawyer when she's probably the worst lawyer in the country. But we have other candidates. We have other candidates, folks. All right, let's move on to Christina Bob. Christina Bob was the custodian of records at Mar-a-Lago who signed a declaration to the Department of Justice that all of the classified documents were turned over back in 2022 when they were not turned over. But I can't hold that against her in 2023. That was 2022 conduct. But Christina Bob continued to make appearances and make a complete and utter fool of herself, like this appearance where she moonlights as a host for a right-wing media network, RSBN, Right Side Broadcast Network. She's a host and Trump's lawyer at the same time. And here she falsely suggests that Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, recently won the election because of voter fraud. That's like their go-to. Everything to a MAGA, and a MAGA lawyer is fraud because they're the biggest losers. Here, play this, right, Christina Bob?
Election. Well, I think what yesterday proved was that the voters showed up for Donald Trump and no one else. I mean, that's effectively what happened. I mean, you didn't have conservative turnout in a lot of these places. I mean, the Mississippi governor, Republican governor, won re-election. the down ballot in Kentucky was all Republican, with the one exception of the governor voting Democrat. I thought that's an interesting race that, you know, I don't have any reason one way or another to try to opine on what happened in Kentucky, but it is interesting to me that the entire statewide down ballot, which had about probably 5 other races on it, all went solidly Republican, about 60-40, and yet it flipped on the top of the ticket for the governor, which he was the incumbent, so that's not, you know, not unheard of. But it's interesting that Republicans would vote for the Democrat at the top of the ticket and then vote Republican all the way down.
And I can't hold this conduct against her because it's 2022 conduct. But here is where Laura Ingraham asks Christina Bob, so like, did he have a nuclear weapon, like nuclear codes at Mar-a-Lago? And watch her response.
Okay, so Christina, just so I'm clear about this, I want to be really clear. Is it your understanding that there were not documents related to our nuclear capabilities or nuclear issues that had national security implications in the president's possession when the agents showed up at Mar-a-lago?
That's correct. I don't believe they were, and if they thought
well,
they were...
do you know for a fact? Do you know for a fact they were? Have you spoken to the president about it?
I have not specifically spoken to the president about what nuclear materials may or may not have been in there. I do not believe there were any in there. The legal team had done a very thorough search and had turned over. We've been very cooperative with the Biden administration and the DOJ and turned over everything that we found that we had. So it's my understanding on very good belief based on a thorough investigation that there was nothing there.
And here's Christina Bob falsely suggesting that the FBI planted the evidence at Mar-a-Lago. Play the clip.
There was actually anything there that's worthwhile. We'll see what they come up with. You know, if they did, it'll be interesting, especially since they precluded me from actually watching what they did. But at this point, I don't necessarily think that they would even go to the extent of trying to plant information. I think they just make stuff up and, you know, come up with whatever they want. And that's the way that they will have to proceed in order to actually try to indict the president, because they don't have anything. There's just nothing there.
Here's the thing about Christina Bob. While she may be a really bad lawyer, not a lot of 2023 conduct. And I also just think that, like, unlike Alina Haba, Christina Bob is, I feel a little bad for Christina. I don't feel bad for Alina Haba, but Christina Bob, I shouldn't feel bad for Christina Bob, but she's just really not that bright at all. And it's really sad to watch, but I don't feel bad for her. All right. Now, Joe Takapina. Takapina. Here's Joe Takapina entering the court, and here's E. Jean Carroll entering the court. One of my favorite moments where they call him Takapina. Play the clip.
Shame on you. Enabling rape. Takapina. What is on you? Shame on you. Protect it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are so brave. We know you. Trump is a predator. Millions and millions of women believe you. Millions of women.
After Joey Takapina lost the first defamation and sexual abuse case, and Trump was found liable, you had a protester screaming at Takapina. Here, play this clip.
But again, they found him not liable for the rape.
What do you make of the fact that they decided? What do you make of the fact that they so quickly decided on sexual abuse, but didn't go as far as saying this was rape?
Remember, Joe Takapina represents Donald Trump in the E. Jean Carroll case that Trump lost, and he's representing Donald Trump in the criminal case, the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case. And here is Takapina on MSNBC. Here's what he had to say. Listen to this.
If all of what you say is true,
It is.
then why was Trump hiding it and lying about it at the time? And I'll play that for your response. He lied about it. We all know that.
When you
Take
say
a
he
look.
lied about
Take
it,
a look.
Let's see.
President, did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why did Michael Cohen make it if there was no truth or allegation?
You have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Ari, that that is. If that's what you're going to consider a lie. A lie to me is something material under oath in a proceeding.
Well, I didn't say perjury. I said a lie.
Yeah, but that's not a lie. That's
not a lie?
Here's why it's not a lie.
That's not a lie?
Here's why it's not a lie.
Did you know about this?
Let me answer.
Did you know about this? No, I don't.
No, we don't need that. Here's why it's not a lie.
Yeah.
Because it was a confidential settlement. So if he acknowledged that, he would be violating the confidential settlement. So is it the truth? Of course it's not the truth. Was he supposed to tell the truth? He would be in violation of the agreement if he told the truth. So by him doing that, he was abiding by not only his rights, but Stormy Daniels' rights.
It seems like we're drawing some blood here because you're having a strong reaction. He did lie about it, and in a confidential settlement, you can easily say, no comment, or I'm not getting into it. He says, and the reason why I look at this, he says, no, I didn't know about it. But he did know about it, didn't he?
But here's the thing. I don't know the timing of that video. I really don't. And I'm not trying to play games with you.
April 2018.
Yeah, but I don't know the timing of that video in relation to the timing of the other video where he was speaking to Michael Cohen. What was the date of that other video? Do you know?
Yeah. We have the Cohen recording. This was around the 2016 campaign pre-November. So that was 2018 later. The original conversations were in the fall of 2016. Yes, sir.
So obviously he knew about it, but what he decided to do was not violate the confidentiality clause and provision of that agreement, which was the right thing to do. So, yeah, he could have said no comment, or he could have said, I don't know anything about it, which is what he did. But that's the right. I would advise my client to do the same thing. He's speaking to some, whether it's a journalist or some young lady on the street.
September 2016 is the exact date.
But whether he's speaking to a journalist or some young lady on the street who's shouting out a question, that is not the form for him to go into detailed questions about a confidential settlement agreement.
Here's another. It's so bad. Here's another appearance of Taki Takapina on Meet the Press. Play this clip.
Start with a simple question. Why did your client, Mr. Trump, make that claim that turned out not to be true? Did he make it up?
No, he didn't make it up. He was reacting towards a lot of leaks coming out of the district attorney's office. There had been a leak, Chuck, that Monday, the day before that Tuesday, there was a law enforcement meeting, including Secret Service and NYPD, that was going to go through the logistics of the arraignment. And then there was, of course, a lot of rumors regarding the arraignment being the next day. So I think he just assumed, based on those leaks, that what was going to happen.
Has anybody
so it wasn't about making it up, and certainly he doesn't want to be arrested.
Here's where Taki Takapina was asked about Donald Trump posting photos of himself swinging a baseball bat at the Manhattan District Attorney's head. Play this clip.
That includes the witnesses for the people who are talking just as much.
But it also includes the former president swinging a baseball bat at the head of the Manhattan DA.
Well, I don't know where you got that, because if
that was a tweet sent out by the former president.
No, it wasn't. And first of all, that picture was not him swinging a baseball bat. I mean, if you want to distort the facts, go right ahead. I won't address that. Yes, it is. He wasn't swinging a baseball bat at anyone's head. That was a picture of him showing off an American-made bat. Someone else put a picture of the district attorney next to him, and in an article posted that. That's not his article. That's not his photos.
Not using language that
And one of the things to remember about Taki Takapina is he used to be a news commentator, and like you could just see like how he looked before being a MAGA lawyer and how much happier he was. And he actually was once a commentator who was saying that he thought Mueller had the goods on Donald Trump. So take a look at a flashback of Taki Takapina basically saying things against his own client's interest a few years earlier. Play the clip.
If the Trump organization really is cooperating, why would Mueller need to issue the subpoena?
Well, because it brings it to a different level of formality. The subpoena, look, it's just not common practice. I was a former prosecutor. You don't just accept the word of the lawyers for the subpoenaed party that we've given you all the documents. You need to have it formal. You need to have it in writing, so there's no misunderstanding later that we did or did not ask for certain records. This just formalizes the process and brings it closer to that next step. But it certainly is ratcheting it up for sure. But this is simply saying, here's what we want. It also is a timing issue. Subpoenas do require compliance within a certain amount of time, which obviously an informal agreement doesn't necessarily do. So this does ratchet up the level of severity, and to me, it's a telltale sign that Mueller's investigation is starting to hone in that direction of the White House, the Trump organization, and members of it.
All right, folks. So a not so tough decision. Drum roll, please. The worst MAGA lawyer of 2023, it's an easy one. Alina Haba. Sanctioned nearly $1 million. Donald Trump was found in contempt in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case multiple times. She did a horrible job in that case. Waiver of absolute presidential immunity, no jury request in New York, or no even attempt to, no experts, no motion eliminates in the E. Jean Carroll case, and mentioned in a lawsuit recently that was filed against somebody at Bedminster. But you know what? You know how much Alina Haba was paid? She posts about it, how much she's paid. She brags about it. For all of that work, I think she's been paid somewhere near $3 million by Donald Trump's political action committees. And I think that's not even including the sanctions. So great work, MAGA. You've given millions and millions of dollars to Alina Haba, both for her fees and for, I suppose, these sanctions as well. Anyway, there it is. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. Have a good one.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.